A national clean electricity standard is the best next move in our fight against the climate crisis. If you need convincing, check out our last video.
So now that we all know that we need a 100% clean electricity standard, we're here to tell you how we can get one passed and why we better do it fast.
So how do we pass this thing?
The first thing to know is that this idea is extremely popular. Recent polling from our partners at Data for Progress show that 2/3 of Americans support President Biden's goal to reach 100% clean electricity by 2035. It's overwhelmingly popular with Democrats and independents, and even about half of Republicans.
The clean electricity standard, that is a phrase that could catch fire.
Support for a clean electricity standard is just as high in battleground states that decided the 2020 election. Minnesota, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Florida, Iowa, Nevada, North Carolina, Georgia, and even Texas support the president's 100% clean electricity plan.
President Biden has already made this idea central to his Build Back Better agenda. But we know that the real sticking point when it comes to legislation isn't popularity or even presidential support. It's the Senate. And what is standing in the way of the Senate passing things, Sam?
The filibuster.
The filibuster. It's an archaic Senate rule that Mitch McConnell continues to use to block anything that Democrats are trying to pass, even when they're extremely popular ideas.
Let me finish.
As long as the filibuster is around, any legislation that doesn't impact the budget will require 60 votes to pass the Senate, rather than a simple majority of just 50 votes.
Simply put, we should get rid of the filibuster. It was never intended to be used in this way, and it's a roadblock to progress on all kinds of issues. But we cannot allow the filibuster to stand in the way of climate action. There is another way that we can pass a clean electricity standard that Mitch McConnell and Senate Republicans cannot stop. Remember when I just said this? As long as the filibuster is around, any legislation that doesn't impact the budget will require 60 votes to pass the Senate. That's right, past me. Legislation that is focused on the budget can be passed with a simple majority through a process called budget reconciliation. Reconciliation? Reconciliation bills can pass by simple majority so long as they don't violate the provisions of the Byrd Rule.
And we have come up with 3 ways to structure a clean electricity standard so that it is reconcilable.
Hooray! The 3 versions of a CES that can pass through budget reconciliation involve using a system of incentive payments and penalties to drive power utilities to meet 100% clean energy.
In each of our CES policy designs, utilities are required to increase their use of clean energy resources. They must meet 80% by 2030 on a path to 100% carbon-free resources by 2035. And we don't have time to wait. The science demands that we act now, and so does the politics.
The Biden-Harris administration is at the height of its political power right now, and they are in power in part because they ran and won on a bold 100% clean electricity standard.
Democrats now control the White House and both chambers of Congress, but that control is not guaranteed beyond 2022. We have a chance right now to pass the most consequential piece of climate legislation ever, the heart of President Biden's clean energy plan, and a thing that can put us on a course to avoid the most disastrous impacts of climate change. That is what is at stake here.
This is our moment. President Biden and Congress must meet it with the boldness it requires.
To learn more about our proposal, read our full report on a clean electricity standard at evergreenaction.com/100clean.
And stay tuned. We will be back soon to talk about the additional steps the federal government can and must take to drive clean energy investments, create good-paying jobs, and deliver on the promise for environmental justice.